I really can't get enough of this view, Amy.
No, we can't.
When people could only see this beautiful lake, the blowing crepe myrtles. I had to figure out what they were called.
Well, you can see it better because I cleaned the window.
Yeah. Oh, that's why. That's why I noticed it. Good
Yes,
job.
thank you.
Yeah.
We
Well-
wanted a very special, clean space
Oh,
for
we're-
our special guests.
That's right. We do have a special guest on the
Yes.
show today. We have Michelle on the show, and she'll be talking to us. But to line this all up, we met Michelle at Savvy Caregiving
hmm
because we have no idea what we were being thrown into.
So we
And-
took a class.
Right. And she was like, it's
No.
going to be okay. This all happens. There's different stages, helps you identify, helps you navigate. Really cool stuff. She is like a guru at this, and she has her own experience as well.
She is an end-of-life doula and a grief worker as well. So we're going to talk about that, and we are going to get started.
Hi,
I'm Amy.
and I'm Joe.
And we're the Rolling Rogans.
Whoa!
All right. Your name is Michelle Johnson.
Yes.
I never even knew your last name.
Really?
No.
Yes, let my mom tell it. She always wanted a little girl named Michelle.
And I love your style, by the way.
Thank you.
Even every day when you showed up and we saw you, you had different colors on. And I see you're digging the vibe of more anime styles on t-shirts and designs.
Yes.
So I was like, are you a millennial?
I would say I am. 44 is like on the cusp of, but I am.
So
Nah,
she's like us. We're the Zennials.
the Zennial.
That's
They're like the
Ah,
last two.
okay.
And the first two of the Gen X and the Millennials. We're in that
Yeah.
little region that's why we relate well, I think.
Yeah,
And,
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
that connection on
Yeah.
that level of like, yeah.
I know.
So-
So whenever people ask me, are you a millennial? It's like oldness comes out of me, the elder. And I'm like,
the Gen X.
but I am a millennial.
So it's called Zennial.
Okay.
The
I'm a
X with the
Zennial.
ennial.
I will use that
Yeah.
from now on.
But yeah, you saw the growth, the beginning of the internet and everything. It's
Yes.
not like you had a screen in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just magically happened. So
Don't do that. You sound like the kids with the late 1900s. Don't do that.
don't you like it when you now are selecting like, on the internet and then you
Mhm.
just have to keep scrolling further down on your birth date? Like,
Oh my
like it just the
gosh.
screen keeps going page by
Right.
page.
Like
by
the price
page.
is right.
Exactly.
$1. So, all right. Anyways, I digress.
So the Savvy Caregiver class is where we met you. And it's a class that's was it 8 weeks?
It's 7 weeks.
7 weeks? Okay. And I'm really glad that we decided to take that class right at the beginning of our journey. So right when we
I actually had to miss the first class, and I
Yes,
did
'cause-
apologize for that.
because you didn't move up here to this location yet.
No, actually, I think it was
the week
it
of.
was my mom. She was wigging out.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember
Or
you telling me that.
was
She had an
that-
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like I was sad that I missed those classes, but
It
it's
was
like,
all transition.
I had the perfect
overlapping.
real time example happen right in front of us.
So that first day you didn't need it.
And that first day,
Yeah.
I was by myself, and we were going around asking who we're caregiving for.
Mhm.
And I said, I'm caregiving for my mother-in-law and my mom and a cousin next door. And then I started crying. And everybody like
Yeah.
came giving me hugs.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, wait, and everybody else has only got like one person. I'm like, uh-oh, are we doing too much?
Right. They
Like-
had one person or they were a supporter.
So how did you get started doing those classes?
I started with Elder Options about 3 years ago as a caregiver support coach. At the time, I was actually a case manager for a company that did juvenile diversion case management.
Mm.
And so, with my profession as an end of life doula and grief support worker, I wanted to include caregiver training. That's what I've always wanted to do. And so I went there, interviewed to be a volunteer. And so I went there, I think, on a Friday during work hours, traveled to Gainesville. And so my supervisor, he interviewed me, and then he's like, okay, we'll let you know next week. Monday comes, and he's like, hey, I forgot to tell you there's a position open. And I was like, oh my So, needless to say, I agreed to it, got off the phone, and cried the rest of the day because I was so happy.
So what made you get into this work?
I was a caregiver myself for my mom in my early 20s to late 30s. She dealt with heart disease, end stage kidney failure, and dialysis.
Mm.
And
Wow.
then when I was a teenager, I saw her care for my grandmother that had Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
And I saw the difficulty that she had, with caring for her, finding support for her while she went to work. And I saw her when she had to leave work early and when she had sleepless nights because she wandered. So I was engulfed in the world of family caregiving, even at a young age.
I see that. You're also saying that did you all live together? And that's how you're witnessing a lot of that, like from your grandmother, your mom taking care of your grandmother.
So
And
a
so,
multi-generational house.
Yes, me and my mom lived with my grandmother while she took care of her.
Okay.
yeah, because sometimes on perspectives, like people,
Mhm.
like families disperse and they go live in their different states. And then when
Right.
things just start to go in, I don't want to say a downward spiral, it's just like
Mhm.
it catches people off guard right away. Like, when did that happen?
Mhm.
Right,
Kind of
right.
thing. So,
Yeah.
But you guys,
okay.
so did you see the progression more quickly, I guess, or recognize it earlier because you were all living together?
Funny story. That's the reason why me and my cousins hate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches too. But we saw the signs earlier where my grandmother, she would constantly ask us, "Are you hungry? You want a peanut butter jelly sandwich? You hungry? You hungry?" And we didn't know what it was. So I was there from the onset, before the onset, until the end.
Mm.
So
Wow.
I saw the entire journey,
Wow.
the
Wow.
different stages, and where she was the housewife, then she started forgetting things, the wandering, and then she had to go on a facility, which broke my mom's heart. And
Hmm.
then she was bedridden, and not everyone gets to that stage. It's different for everyone, but this was her journey.
Mm.
And then she just went to sleep. So I was there the entire time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously it had a big impact on you
It had a huge impact.
that
Yeah.
you went into this line of work.
Yes. Yeah.
So was there like like a specific moment that you had that aha moment, like this is what I want to do?
The aha moment came when I left my job as I've lived many lives. Don't judge. But
so have we. We've had many businesses, all sorts of things.
I used to be my first professional job after I got my degree was as a dependency case manager. And I left there in 2014 and became a long-term care Medicaid waiver case manager. And that deals with those that are disabled and their caregivers. And so as I was working with the caregivers, it just clicked. I was so happy with the job that I was doing because I was working with caregivers, providing resources, navigating the system
Hmm.
for them, giving them advice and comforting them like what I do in class, I
Mhm.
was doing there.
Yeah.
So it's like I felt equipped for the job. Yeah. So
So
that was my aha moment.
so you feel that reward because helping people is very important to you.
Yeah, yeah.
It-
Because I realized at that time, even as a child, without the education of what you're doing, you feel lost, and just providing people with that validation and the education
Mhm.
that it just brings joy to my heart.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that it's really cool because you've also shared some insight with me about something that I had not realized, and you're the first person to actually just give me that conscious interrupt. And I think that's like after outside of class, or we were showing you our van or something like that.
Mhm.
But when you got to know more about our story, about what's going on when I was, we first got married and my wife's challenges and stuff like that,
Mhm.
you just said like, "Oh, you've been caregiving this whole time." And I was
Yeah.
just like, "Whoa, wait a minute." I
We
hadn't
still
like
talk about that.
I still talk
Yeah.
about that. So
Mhm.
that's just like, wow. I just, for over
29 years?
29 years,
Wow.
not just like taking care of my mom, but it
Oh my
just started to put
gosh.
pieces together
Because it
Not
wasn't as
yeah.
obvious
Mhm.
caregiving me
Right.
because I'm independent, I do things,
Mhm.
but 5
Right.
surgeries, health issues, lots of ER visits,
Yeah.
all of those
Just even
things.
being a supporting structure on the side,
Yeah.
especially from rough
Emotional support,
emotional support.
all that.
Yeah. So, thank you.
You're
Is what I want to
welcome.
say to that. So,
How has that changed it for you, Joe?
um, it kind of gives me a little bit of a more blueprint of what I can do and what I'm capable of.
Mhm.
And I think it's not so much of like this is all I am. It's like I can actually start to reflect on that and take a little bit more time and see like, what I am capable of doing. I don't think I would ever do it to the level of like the certifications and the things that you would do, but it's really good to be kind of on the sidelines being a support structure or just like cheering on the team. And
Mhm.
I can do that for so many people, and sometimes I just don't think about that. I'm in the thick of it, I suppose, but
And
Oh, yeah.
it's like,
I've seen you. There's been a couple times where you're like questioning it yourself,
yeah,
like, can I do this?
yeah.
And then when you made that comment that
Mhm.
like
Well,
we've already gone through this so
there's
far.
there's either two things I'm gonna do is like one, just like Futurama, like Fry, he's just a delivery person for the rest of his life
I love that
because
show, by the way.
that's what happened. I was a driver for UPS. I was a Chinese delivery driver,
Mhm.
believe it or not. And also I did like
Lyft and Uber.
DoorDash, Lyft, Uber, and I'm like,
Wow.
like I'm a courier. It's like everything I
Yep.
do is like I did
From-
roadie for a while.
if-
So I'm either a delivery person or a caregiver, It's like, it's
What are
like
your credentials, sir?
yeah, I know. Like just scan my bracelet or something. Right? Yeah.
But
So
a lot of people, they don't consider themselves a caregiver, even if they're in the midst of caring for a loved one.
mhm.
They may live with that person or they may not, and they're still the caregiver. It's not until you slow them down and you're like, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing this? Let me hold your hand. You are a caregiver.
Yeah.
I think it's a real mental shift, and I think that's what you had,
Right.
Joe.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
mental shift, and it's also just a way of you're there for the person that just like went through it, and just by like holding your hand, like you could have like all these tears well up, and like your whole life, like your 29 years of like what you're doing, but it's like a happy grieving process, I suppose. I don't know how to explain that.
But that's a good explanation though, because a lot of caregivers don't realize that they're grieving because they're
Mhm.
moving and operating, and they think because of their role as a son, the daughter, the spouse, that this is just what I'm supposed to do. Sir, you're caregiving. And I know you don't want the roles to switch where you're going from daughter to caregiver, but that's what it is now.
Mhm.
And you have to think differently as a caregiver because sometimes you're going to have to put your foot down and take control. You don't want to hear that, not take control, but
Mm.
help navigate.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So it's a grieving process because you're grieving the life you had with the person,
Yes.
and you're grieving the loss of that person, even though they're still alive.
Yes.
And so that leads us into what is a end of life doula.
Yes, I am a trained end of life doula. I tell people in simple terms, I basically create a sacred space for that person to transition, just as a birth doula creates a sacred space for that baby to enter into.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times when someone is transitioning or when they're dying, there's chaos. Someone's, pulling the strings, telling them, no, she doesn't need this. No, they don't need that. And, there's funeral plans, there's loud talking, there's arguments with family. That person still needs the right to have a sacred and peaceful space for them to go through that physical change, as their body goes through those natural changes of death
Mhm.
and transition. That's their right to have that.
So what do you do as the steps progress?
As an end of life doula, I basically advocate for desires of that person. If they don't want a certain person there, I make sure that happens. If they want to be in a room with certain music playing, poetry read, that's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does someone hire you to do that? Like, how do they find you to do that?
I am listed in a couple of listings as an end-of-life doula, or they can reach out to me at my website. It is private pay. At this time, end-of-life doula services are not covered under insurance, but, hopefully they'll recognize us. We're becoming more popular in mainstream media about what we do.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know about
I have
that.
never heard of
Yeah,
anything.
I've never heard of that.
The only way that I do it in layman terms, and hopefully I don't butcher this, is like, an event planner. That's what an event planner does.
You can
But,
say,
in a
we
sense,
help
but we're not
plan-
talking about wedding cakes and flowers and stuff. Well,
Yeah,
maybe flowers.
or baby shower.
Or a wedding cake. Who knows?
Right. We could help plan
Yeah.
celebrations of life while that person is still here, because not everyone is in a sleeping state as they're transitioning. Some people are wide awake, able to make decisions, and, giving them their flowers at that time. That's beautiful. Not wait until, they're laying down in a casket and then
And they
you're
can't
like,
see them.
right, and they can't hear it. So, and we also assist in having and facilitating those difficult conversations, because a lot of family members, they don't want to talk about what's going on with that person.
Yeah.
What's going on is they're dying. So let's talk about it. And I encourage family members to, as you are caring for your loved one that's dying, to also allow them to talk about it, because we have to remember this is their experience.
Right.
How are they feeling? What's their experience? What do they want? We want to give them back the power to take control of how they transition.
And before we get too far, your website to hire you is peacefultransitions.info.
Yes. Email address is peacefultransitions2021@gmail.com.
Okay. And we'll put the links to all of that in the descriptions.
Okay.
But I definitely want that. So
That's
my
cool.
wishes, I want you
Right.
to do that for me.
I want a cotton candy machine or a popcorn machine or something.
He
And I
said
want-
that for the longest
and
time.
karaoke, and everybody has to sing like celebrate, like
Yeah, hey, it's however you want it. And it is, people have to honor your wishes. They have to be okay with that. It was like Family Guy. And they had they had Peter's funeral, and there was a clown, and a clown was on a unicycle, and his wife was sitting there like, I don't know why he wanted this, and then all of a sudden Meg gets hit with the pie. Well, you want it, that's what we're gonna do.
There must have been some divine intervention, because I watched a movie last night. It was called A Little Bit of Heaven, and it was with Kate Hudson, and basically she was dying of colon cancer. And the movie was basically her whole process of emotions and the grief, but they didn't explain it that way. They just showed what she was going through. But her celebration, her funeral, she planned it all. And it was a Louisiana celebration with the streamers, balloons, and the way they portrayed that was just so beautiful.
Wow.
And of course, I was bawling the whole time through. I'm glad you weren't in here watching it with me, because I was just bawling. I went through like 10 tissues.
And I've heard that word more, end of life celebration, more than just like a funeral per se. Like it just seems to be something that I'm experiencing now, and has it been something that's around longer, or is this just something that has just kind of it being more, I don't know, I'm just more aware of it now than it wasn't in my reticulating active system.
Your mom, when we were helping her plan her husband's funeral, she didn't want a funeral. She didn't want it to be sad. She was already grieving and really struggling with that. So when we talked about having a celebration of life, that really meant a lot more to her, to have all the friends around and celebrate who he was instead of just everybody crying. She was really getting away from that funeral idea. So I think that's what really threw us into that mindset of a celebration.
Yeah.
But I remember you've been talking for a long time about, because we've talked about death. I don't know why, but we've talked about death in our funerals.
Part of life.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well,
part of life.
honestly, you and I have faced death, because there's been a few times that it was pretty close. So I think we've had to deal with it a lot sooner than most people. So I think we've talked about that in
I
Your
think
cotton candy machine.
we love that cotton candy
Yeah.
machine, you know. I don't know what flavors are coming to the table yet.
So everybody gets
work with
diabetes at yours.
Yeah.
This is my gift to you all.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be more like my dad, to be honest.
You know what? I was just reading your mind. I was going to say
My
the
dad's
same thing.
going out on a sugar load. He's happy, you know. But yeah. Well, that's got me thinking a lot of cool ideas because I would make that spectacular for myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would leave an impression on this world, not leaving a legacy or anything like that.
Even with this podcast, we talk about difficult subjects like this,
Mm-hmm.
but we laugh a lot. And I'm always concerned about, are we seeming insensitive? But laughter is so important for just life in general. And it helps us get through a lot of difficult things. So,
well, let me tell you a story. So when my grandmother passed away, she was in hospice, and me and all of my family was there. My mom, aunts, uncles, cousins down south, up north, they were all there. And we were all in the room, and she was asleep, as I stated. And so my mom and her siblings, they would go over, touch her head, give her a kiss and this and that. And the cousins, we were looking on. But some of us would, talk about her sayings, the famous sayings, and, how she would get the grandkids, when we would go to the neighbor house and steal some Japanese plums off of a tree, and she knew where we were, or her favorite songs in church. We would sing those songs while we were visiting with her. And as we were laughing and talking about the things she used to say and how she used to get some of us as kids, in the midst of all of that, she beautifully passed away. That was the most beautiful thing that I had ever experienced. And that set the precedence for me creating peaceful transitions.
She passed in the midst of the laughter.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Cousins, everyone.
Okay, there's tissues behind you because I might need
go.
some here. I'm good.
We are not sponsored by Kleenex.
We'll see what happens for the rest of this year. But anyways, I was just in that midst of that very important moment, I was also thinking of how I'm picturing how Joe would pass, probably with a fart.
Oh yeah. I just have recordings.
I mean,
you know what?
Us and fart humor
things out of his hands, because he would probably hit that remote control just to see what you guys would do.
That's true. He would be cognizant enough to push the button for the fart button.
See?
On the Tesla.
But the celebrations of life, they've been around for so long. It's nothing new. It's just becoming more mainstream. And I remember seeing a show where this person, they had a celebration of life. Friends, family, everybody came to this restaurant. It was a long table. And everyone was having dinner. They were drinking. But they came with the expectation of knowing that this was that person's celebration of life. So it was wine, it was laughter, it was stories. And that person said their goodbye to everyone.
That's closure. Yeah.
Right.
That's complete closure.
So it's however you want it to be. You're taking back the power of how your end of life goes.
And I love that we're having this discussion because in our class, you also said we were the youngest people that you've had in one of your classes.
Mm-hmm.
So people our age don't know about this stuff unless they've been exposed like you were at a teenager. I'm really glad that we can share this information and start getting it in more mainstream so that people do have the ability to plan this. I'm giggling because our cat is trying to get in on this podcast here.
That's a first. That is really a first.
He knows you're a good person. He likes you.
He sat beside me and just meowed at me.
He normally doesn't do that.
No, he does not normally do that to people.
Yes, you have the touch, the caring touch.
Yes,
for sure.
Well, and I'm glad that you were able to spend some time out here because you've been here for a couple hours before we actually started recording, and you got to see what we explained in the class.
I didn't hear anything else you said when I saw the backyard. I was like,
you just
what
stopped.
You said,
Squirrel.
We were talking, and you saw the lake in the back, and you were like, "Whoa." But we had described it in the class because we have a unique setup with our cousin
Right.
living next door, and we've got our little funny farm here. But now that you see what we've got set up, what do you think?
This is
Are we crazy?
beautiful. You are not crazy. You know what? You are a special case because unlike a lot of people, you have that respite in your backyard where you can just go and camp out and just stay there for a
That's
couple
cool.
of hours.
Yeah.
That's good to
You
know.
have that escape.
Because I thought I had to drive like 2 hours away to go to my karate and everything.
Right.
That's good
Go
to
to a
hear it
different
from
lake.
somebody
We
else.
have it in the backyard.
Yes.
Now,
But hey, it could be too familiar. So, and if that's the case, hey,
well, we can get in the boat and go out in the middle of the lake and get some quiet time too. So it's
Okay.
Yeah.
it's okay. If we can't like drive and go away for a while, like we can be in the boat and still have the cameras, watch from
And
from
if I
there.
get my pilot's license and I get that seaplane,
Yep.
there is enough runway to get
Mm.
off of this lake.
it certainly is.
So it'll all be good.
That's true. So you also got to see Mom with her boyfriend.
Yes.
And you said that we left a few details out.
What? Y'all, I don't know what y'all were saying because you didn't say that.
You
No,
said
I'm
we were a little
kidding,
too
I'm
nice.
kidding. I guess.
We want them to be happy. We love that they're enjoying their time together, but it is a bit of a challenge with some of the ideas that she has.
Yeah.
So, but to have somebody else and see your reaction to it, it is validating to be like, okay, this is a unique, difficult situation. Like,
Yeah.
I can't find anybody that's going through something similar to this to
Yeah.
be able to get help. Like, it's weird. It's not weird in like in a bad way. It's
Just
just
somebody pinch me.
yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
like
Oh,
really.
hey. All right.
Now-
Well, anybody that's watching on YouTube is
We
going
have
to
a-
see our cat up on the table.
We have a furball transition.
Taco Cat is now part of the podcast.
Yes.
Yes, period. But I'll tell anyone, I will never judge anyone for how they treat their loved one because I don't know the dynamics of the situation.
Mhm.
That's humble.
Even with the situation with you guys, there was no judgment. If this is what you see and you have concerns, go with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, what I saw today is I'm happy that she has found love.
Mhm.
She's found companionship. And, a lot of people don't have that. Even with our elders, it doesn't matter how old they are, they still want companionship. And she
Of course.
has that.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes,
But-
that's the core. Is she
Right.
wants to feel loved again.
Yeah. But we also want to be safe. So
Safety and
Robots
Yes.
can love you.
we'll get there.
You're just
sci-fi
in
short
metal
stories
skin.
have proven
Yes.
that.
So, before I move to the next section, what advice do you have for us since we are in the middle of our journey at this moment? Now that we've taken the class with you a few months ago, you're seeing our actual situation. Do you have any immediate advice for us at the moment?
As I always start with my caregivers, you guys are doing an amazing job. Just keep doing what you're doing, staying focused, showing yourselves compassion, and just keeping an eye on your loved one.
Mhm.
Advocate for them as much as you can't do it no
Mhm.
more. You guys are doing an amazing job at advocating for her.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I would just say, just keep doing what you're doing and just take it one day at a time. Yeah, and just
Mhm.
stay connected with resources, support groups, whatever you can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, now we'll talk about you
Mhm.
and your aging process because we're in midlife right
Mm.
now. What surprises you most about this middle age level? We're leveling up.
What surprises me most? I did not realize I would be so. I'm not a caregiver, and my son, I'm an empty nester. I didn't realize I would be so happy and free because when you turn 30, it's like, oh, dirty 30, oh, girl, you're 30. And then 40, oh, you're old. I feel like I have a renewed breath. It's like my life is just starting over again. Of course, sometimes I feel 44. Don't
Yeah,
let it
we do
fool
too.
you. Yeah. But it's just like, it just feels like my best days are ahead.
Do you feel like, because I think this is kind of my perspective too, is do you feel like you have the wisdom of the first 40 years that, but now you still have enough energy to do some stuff with that knowledge? And it's like, okay, that second breath, that second wind, it's like, all right, now this is my time.
Yes, yes. I'm so grateful to have the wisdom and the knowledge and truth on this side of my life because before, I'm telling you, I made mistakes. I fell and bumped my head, I don't know how many times.
We all
But
do,
it's
yeah.
like, right, you know, and now I'm like, there's no shoulda, woulda, couldas. Let's just live life, you know.
Right.
But you learn from those mistakes, you learn from failures.
You dust off, you get back up.
That's how you know
Yeah.
you've lived life.
Yeah.
And so that I'm excited for you that you've experienced that, you've felt all of that, and you're taking that to move into the next phase.
Yes.
A lot of people, the old-fashioned version of midlife crisis. My brother and I were just talking about this, that midlife crisis isn't like what it used to be.
Yeah.
Like
it's
guys aren't
not.
going out and having an affair or getting a fancy car or things like that. It's almost, it's not a crisis anymore. It's a let's go do something, unless the crisis is your health. Because that's actually where more of the crisis is. We're isolated more. We're not taking care of ourselves, and we're getting put in this caregiving role a lot earlier. And so that's from what some of the articles that I've been reading is that that's more of the crisis now for our generation.
Yeah. We become more self-centered. And when it comes to aging, we want to become younger. We want to look younger. And there's no more aging with grace. There's no more aging. You know, everybody wants to be a housewife. Everybody wants to give dating advice for older people like they're in their 20s. You know, it's like the race for vanity.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just crazy. And even with us being in that place of just being, you know, vain, when it comes to our parents, we don't have time. I don't have time. I have this going on. I have that going on. When there's the singular caregiver that's the sibling, we're like, oh, I have a family. I have this. I have to go here. I have this business. But it's like, what happened to the village?
Yeah.
What happened to us taking care of our loved ones? Because when I reflect back on how my mom experienced her journey, where she went from being healthy, I mean, up until my mom's 40s, I used to always tell her she was so pretty. She looked like she was in her 20s. Then when she turned 30, you look like you're in your 20s. Then when she turned 40, you look like you're in your 30s. She looks so young. But then as her health started to decline with diabetes and things like that, I saw the decline on her face. And I saw how when she had heart problems, she went from the heart doctor, spending time in the hospital every now and then, going to the kidney dialysis center and this and that, and how she was tired. It's like, what if I was not there? And she was by herself?
We're actually seeing quite a bit with Joe's mom. That's all she knows is her vanity, her hair. And so if something is happening to the way she looks, her hair, anything like that, she really gets depressed. That was actually one of her catastrophic reactions, her panic attack, because she had an EEG test that they had glued the electrodes to her head. And the tech told her that it's going to take a couple washings to get the gooey stuff out. It's like Crisco. It's like a conductivity type thing.
Gotcha.
So it's really gooey and gross. And I told her on the way home, like, let's wash your hair tonight? And she's like, no. And so the next morning she got up, showered. She didn't remember that part about it's going to take a couple washings. And chunks of her hair were coming out because she was trying to pick at the goo.
Gotcha.
All of a sudden, she started getting dizzy. She had a panic attack. She called me in there, and I had to calm her down. I could not get her heart rate down, and her blood pressure was through the roof. But she's like, if anything happens to my hair, I'm going to kill myself, and things like that. And the vanity is just, it broke my heart to see that was what she was clinging on to.
Yeah.
And so the fact that when we got the Depends and I was like, oh, girl, your butt looks good at those. And she's like, really? Awesome. And I'm like, they got little ruffles. Like, I knew I had to spin that because she was already feeling sensitive about having to wear them. And so I was like, okay, this is the caregiver thing. Because I know that's so important for her.
She was excited about that too, because she's like, I'm gonna start the baby boomer fashion. Like,
I love
it was pretty funny. Like, she just really got into it, and it was like,
And we are not sponsored by Depends.
no, we
yet.
are. But she's like, I'm gonna tell the world, and I'm like, why don't we just make her a social media influencer?
Yeah.
Trying out products.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
remember we were in
Hey
in
guys,
we were
this
in
is
the
Dee
Tesla.
again. How's my bangs?
We were
I
in
just
the
got 'em
Tesla.
done.
Remember, she did the ad for the Tesla.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Oh my gosh, she was hysterical, and she started doing it, and I didn't have the camera on. I think we just need to have the
Yeah,
camera all the
you just
time on
have
her.
to- Yeah.
Because she started doing everybody should have a Tesla because it's American made and it's the best ever. Like it was adorable.
Wow. Hey, now you know that's a trend now. It's a couple of people that have they made the
Yeah.
jingles for the companies and they've been paid for it. You never know.
There we go.
You never know.
I'll have to put that on social media again because I forget where I put it
I
on
don't think
X.
I really want to see my mom on a billboard ad on the highway.
Or maybe just
Maybe.
voice. Maybe just a
Yeah,
voice.
yeah.
You know she would love it. She
No,
loves
I
being
know.
the star, and
She would be the
she thinks
star.
she's got a sexy body. So
Okay, because she had her ruffled shorts on today. I was
Yeah.
like, girl.
yeah,
Who am I
She
to,
loves shopping.
like, make that choice for her? That's
Yes.
That's
Who
her
are you?
independence.
it is. It is
That shirt,
her
adorable.
those shorts
independence.
today was too cute, honey.
And I love it when we do get her to laugh in between all of the other the harder times. When we do get her to laugh and enjoy,
It's fun.
it's so rewarding. It's
That's
so
good.
exciting to be like,
Yeah.
like when she was walking out and she didn't get it at first, and I'm like, he's joking. She's like, oh yeah, and then
Oh,
she threw it back at you.
Right. Yeah.
So that was
so
great.
funny.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you're like, why didn't you get me an eclair? She's like, well, aren't you
She's
on a
on a diet.
diet?
Touche.
Because she always asks
Yeah.
us, why didn't you get me an eclair?
Yeah.
So funny.
But I think also this, as a caregiver, one thing that I've seen is witnessing from people that have been caregiving is like they are losing their identity too.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I'm observing, and Amy and I are observing. We were just talking about that, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. And it's like, that is the one thing that we never want to lose about ourselves is know who we are. And we're going to do everything in our power. We're going to come in and do like checkpoints.
The reason that I'm seeing it more and it's in my attention is because I keep hearing mom say, I'm losing my dignity. I'm losing my identity. And so when we have these hospital visits or things like that, where she knows she's struggling to cook a little bit more, she doesn't know how to, or she's not sure what to make out of all of this. And she has had a couple of comments where, she's like, I don't feel right. Like things just seem weird and the confusion and things like that. But what she does say is, I feel like I'm losing my dignity because her identity of I used to be able to cook for the man I love, or I used to be able to cook for my kids, or, different things. I used to be able to go to the bathroom by myself, or, things like that. She's not fully at that, but we do have to pay attention. I think I'm paying attention to all of this because what are we going to be like when we're that age? What do I want it to be like? I want to be able to preserve our identity as well. And it's really easy in the caregiving process because it can last 10, 15, 20 years. All of a sudden, you don't have a life afterwards. And what do we do? So we're really paying attention to that. And as part of our caregiver self-care is making sure that we're doing projects that help us find joy.
Yes.
And help us do things that we really would have an identity afterwards that we can do things with. So,
Yeah, even if like you don't have that identity, at least you're doing it in the process though. So that
And
you
we
don't have
change.
those regrets
yeah, we always
of
change
like
and
who or
grow.
what I could have been or what I've done. I mean, because like you being an artist, like you're exploring your flow art now and you're taking it to another level, which is really cool
Don't
to see.
spoil it yet.
Spark happen.
Yeah.
But also
Good.
we're finishing our book is another thing.
Yeah.
And then side projects that we want to do, like if we do want to do another DIY build on our van, like these are
A new
different
van
things
or something.
Yeah, that give us projects on the side that help us, like, separate ourselves. So from being all the different things that we are doing, well, because if we're taking care, you forget that. And
But I also think that even if we did get to the point, you and I have a curiosity and just want to encourage people to have that curiosity and a sense of adventure.
mhm,
Is if you have lost yourself, create a new self.
right.
If it's a blank slate, try something that you've been afraid of.
That's beautiful.
Like, okay, so if you did lose your identity, why not create something different? And then we've been trying to get your mom to create a new identity for herself when we brought her from California.
Yeah.
And she was starting, and then she had to get back with
Fall
have a
back
boyfriend in
into
her patterns and
her
things like that.
patterns.
So that was difficult for us to see, but as long as she's happy, we're here to support as much as possible.
Right.
But
And
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are basically the sounding board for each other when you see that that person is kind of losing themselves in their role.
Mhm.
A lot of caregivers, they don't have that, or they
Mhm.
do have that, but that spouse, they are absent
Mhm.
in
Mm.
emotion.
Yeah.
They don't want to be hands-on with that person. They're just
Checked out.
there. Right. So it's important that they don't fall into that place. It happens. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But that's why we encourage in our classes self-care,
Mhm.
taking that time. There's time somewhere in the day to reevaluate yourself. Like you said, whatever you like to do, your hobby, get back to doing that. Sometimes you just have to take a break, go outside, clear your head, reset, but you can't get to the place where you are just disconnected and just lose your identity. That's a dangerous place to be.
I do agree that a lot of caregivers feel guilty about doing that.
Yes. Feel guilty about self-care, feel
Giving-
guilty about thinking of themselves.
Giving themselves permission to think about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to do that because the statistics for caregivers dying before their
Mhm.
loved one, it's over 65%.
That's crazy.
Really
It's
that
high.
high?
That
Because
high?
the
It's
last
high.
one I found was 40%.
I saw 65.
Holy cow.
It's very high because they're neglecting their health,
Woo.
neglecting themselves, and they're running on burnout.
Yeah.
So it's like when I meet caregivers in the beginning stages of the disease, in the beginning career of caregiving, I'll say that. And they're like, oh, I'm good. I do this, I do that, I do that. I tell them, okay, then I want you to find one task that is a non-negotiable that you cannot stop.
Right.
So when things get hard, you will continue to do this task because it may come a time, it doesn't have to, but if the time comes where it gets rough and you don't have time for anything, stick to your guns about that task that you owe to yourself so you won't lose your identity.
For sure.
Yeah.
I gave myself that challenge with that 2-hour drive. To really have that
Karate
commitment
class, yeah.
down the karate class.
Yeah.
But
That's
see,
like
we
1 day a
kept
week.
that commitment, and we also added this commitment of usually we record the podcast in the Tesla on the way down
Right.
and on the way back
Mm-hmm.
because the car's driving itself.
Great sound booth.
Yeah, it's a great
Oh,
sound booth. Yeah.
cool.
So so we are utilizing that time
And
to
getting
be
our
efficient.
time
Yeah,
back.
and getting
It's
our
not
time
killing
back.
time, it's getting our time
Yeah.
back.
That's good.
So
That's
we learned that in your class, but then we actually, I think, needed that reiterated when we took our caregiving therapy sessions.
Yeah.
Because I still wasn't doing it. Even though I logically know this stuff, I'm still not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And even when he's telling me to do it, I still wasn't doing it. So apparently it took a therapist to force me to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to wrap this up, two more questions. The Art of Aging. Our podcast is called Rolling Rogans Art of Aging.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we're artists. We kind of
We
play
are.
on that. Yes, we are.
High art.
But when you hear that phrase, what comes to mind for you?
The art of aging, aging on your own terms.
Ooh.
I have become addicted to these videos on TikTok and Instagram of these older people in their 70s and 80s, and it's not AI. They are in the gym, and you see where the trainer records them from day one when they're with a walker,
Mhm.
they're shuffling to, we'll say, 30 days later, and they're lifting 5-pound dumbbells, or they're stepping up on the stepper, or they're using a weight machine, at like 10 or 15 pounds.
Yep.
It's like taking control of your health, even though they're after the age of 50, 70 and 80, 90 years old. Like one lady, 90 years old, she was walking around her home with the PT person. And the whole point of the video was all it takes is one step, one decision.
Mm.
And she was regaining her independence with her walker, walking around the home and getting up and down out of her recliner.
Mm-hmm.
So the art of aging, that's where I am now. And every time I see a video, I'm sharing.
Cool.
I've seen a couple of those. It was a personal trainer, and I think it was his parents, and they started working with it, and amazing how they gained their independence back just from that pure determination of doing that.
Yes, it's like
The power
they
of
say,
the mind.
use it or lose it.
Yeah.
But you don't. Yes, you'll lose it, but you can gain it back.
At least to enough where you can still do things and enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Where you can keep your independence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope people.
It's not over yet.
I hope people
Right.
pay attention to those wake up calls, like heart
hope
attacks
so.
or things like that. If they fully recover from a heart attack, make that your second chance.
Yes. Even if you're not at the gym, walk around the trail, stay active, do something. Don't
push
just
that
sit
snooze
there.
button back on.
I got my mom to walk outside because I was kind of like dangling a carrot in front of her, which is
You are on it today.
mozzarella.
Yes.
I like fresh mozzarella, not your dried stuff, like the wet actual mozzarella. And I
Wow.
pulled it apart. I put it in a bowl and I said, "Come with me, Mom. Come with me.
And she's like,
I'm
"What?"
going to show you the most epic experience. And it's not going to be a long walk. It's just,
And we got her sunglasses.
Yeah.
We put her hat on.
Yeah.
She got her walking stick.
And
And
so
she's
I
like,
said-
"What are we doing?"
I said, "Come follow me." And then I showed her our garden. And then I went over to the basil and I said, "Watch this. You see this basil right here?" And I pick off a couple of the leaves. I put it on the mozzarella cheese. And then I put it in her hand. I was like, just take it from your hand and put it in your mouth. And I said, this is an epic walk right here. This is an epic
Wow.
experience. And I think she got it. I think she just took it in, and I hope she did. But I think that was really cool, is just to even a small little walk like that is just a way of encouragement or a moment.
Creating moments of joy. There's a book
Yeah.
that a friend of mine, she had lost her dad to dementia. And the day her father passed away, she actually called me and sat on the phone for an hour talking to me through when I was caregiving my parents after my dad's heart attack.
Wow.
And she sent me that book, Creating Moments of Joy.
Wow.
And it is wonderful. You can flip through it to whatever thing that you need in that chapter, and you can flip through. You don't have to read from front to back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just really cool. And you've been doing really good this morning. You've switched a few things for your mom's morning routine.
Yes. I mean, she could be having a good day because you'll have your good days and your bad days.
Yeah.
You don't know how it's going to go. You just have to navigate the way it is. Apparently, it's a good day, so it might be on her terms or maybe something that I've done. But I have put more attention on her today in helping her before she's buried in her own thoughts and her own mind. Because that's kind of how things start to spiral out of control. I wasn't on my phone. I was drinking and sipping my coffee and talking to her. She does know how to turn a sunny day and make it partly cloudy to, like, the terrible storm that torments everything.
Even the sun, she'll be like, it's too bright.
I don't know how she does that, because it's just it's a shame that that's how her mind works.
It's sad. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to navigate and turn it around a little bit, and I'm not going to focus on the high, like I can do this, because I know that the day is not going to happen the same way
It also
all
means
the time.
It also means you're having a good day too, because you had the energy to do that.
I do, and I'm having a good day, and also just even reflecting back, I'm probably belaboring more about the walk with the mozzarella cheese in the garden.
Hey,
that was a win.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
But that's my garden. That's my garden that I'm building out of all this. Like, just
oh,
all
do
the
you see
work.
that? Bam! That's your garden. That's your piece that you created, and you brought her into your piece.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh,
That's
revelation.
deep, yeah.
That is so cool.
I'll reflect on that now.
That's
That is
awesome.
cool.
Well, while Joe's
Awesome.
reflecting, do you have any questions for us? And I know you've been seeing our little smart home systems and stuff like that and getting ideas for your stuff.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What questions do I have? I just want to come and camp out.
So
No,
that's
but-
the question is, when can you come and camp
When
out?
can you come?
That's anytime.
Anytime.
Because honestly, it really helps because sometimes we can't get away from the house. And to have people come visit, that's one of the reasons we have the space is so that we can have friends come visit and so that we get recharged as well.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So that we can still be close, we can still be doing what we need to be doing, but yet we can still have that socialization and that because they need social activity to keep their minds sharp.
Yeah.
We also need it to keep ourselves sane.
Right. And
So-
you know, one thing I would say for caregivers, and it goes back to what you were talking about with your mom and how sometimes she can make a beautiful sunny day to be like, you know, overcast and cloudy.
Tornadoes,
But
torrential rain.
right, from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
But it's important as a caregiver, easier said than done, that we observe, but we don't absorb. So
Right.
as they're having their moment
Yes.
and they are just dragging you to hell, it's just allowed them to be in that place. That's their experience.
I really
It's
struggled with
not
that.
your
Yes.
experience.
Mhm.
Yeah. It hurts that they are doing that, but it's like just understand that this is a process that they're going to have to go through. They're not going to be in the tornado forever because the next moment they may be like, "Hey, can I get a gummy today?" You know, it's you know,
does.
you're
It's like,
still in
boom.
a tornado, and she made it out the tornado. So that's why I'm like, just observe, but do not absorb.
Most days we're getting better at it, but it doesn't always happen. And luckily Joe and I have each other, so if I'm feeling it or he's feeling it, we can kind of tag you're in,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that.
Pet a cat.
Pet a cat, yes. Taco is definitely our
Oh, he knows.
Yeah. And you know,
He's
for
definitely
the
our therapy as well.
caregivers that don't have anyone, I want to make sure I say that it is important to connect with a support group.
yes.
Connect with the
Yes.
class. If you don't know where to go or who to talk to, there's an area agency on aging for your area or a lead agency providing elder support. Contact them. See if there is a support group in your area, maybe virtual or face to face, and just stay connected. I have some caregivers that go to 2 and 3 support groups. The point is staying connected.
Yes.
Having that outlet, because in the support groups, you'll end up finding a friend, finding companionship. You never know. Heard a couple of them have companionship and some support, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's just having that support. So it's like, do not alienate yourself, observe but don't absorb, and just stay connected.
Speaking of that, Florida's area of aging is Elder Options, right? And that's who you work with. So you said there's a virtual savvy caregiving class coming up that you're teaching, right?
Yes, and that is specifically for dementia family caregivers. But if you don't have a loved one that has dementia, maybe you're concerned about their memory problems, they're forgetting things, you can still participate in the class. And that class is April 13th via Zoom from 6 to 8.
Okay, and where do they find to sign up for that class?
They can go to the Elder Options.
How do they sign up for the class?
Oh, so they can go to the Elder Options website, which is agingresources.org.
Okay.
And they'll look up classes and events, and my virtual class will be there. Yeah.
Okay. And we said earlier that your website for the end of life doula is peacefultransitions.info, and your email was
Peaceful Transitions 2021, like the year, at gmail.com.
And on your Instagram, because I know we connected on Instagram, what you're kind of putting your caregiving things as well on there.
Yeah.
And so your Instagram is Michelle Johnson, but you're the one with the head wrap.
Yes. I tell everybody
Yep.
that. They're like, let me look you up. I'm like, I'm Michelle Johnson, the only one with the head wrap.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys.
And I'm glad you got to spend time here and seeing our actual situation. That actually meant a lot to me, just because we're in it all the time, and to see somebody from the outside see what we're doing and to appreciate what we're doing. It's nice.
And come back anytime, not just for another show, but just for
a campfire,
a campfire, relaxation, or recharge.
See, this
Totally.
is what happens when you connect at a support group or class.
Exactly.
Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in for another episode of Rolling
Rolling
Rogans, Art of Aging. Whoa!
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
Oh!
We scared Taco. Oh,
I know.
It's okay,
it's
buddy.
okay.
It's all right.
Please like, subscribe, share if you haven't. And then also we have our Patreon. We would really appreciate if you could support us because this is basically what I do for a living now is I'm doing these podcasts as we take care of Joe's mom.
And your health.
And my health because it depends on what day I can do things. You can go to patreon.com/rollingrogans and we have 3 levels is a $3 level, a $5 level, and a $10 level. And those are per month membership. There's different benefits to it, so if you go to the website, you'll see all the little tier level benefit things. Appreciate your help. Hope you're enjoying the conversations as we are on this journey of the art of aging.
Please help me.
Hey, friend, I know.
He's so big that he's blocking the microphone. Come on, Taco. There we go.
I was
Wrong
advocating for
fuzzy.
you.
Yep.
Talk to this fuzzy, not this fuzzy.
He want to be next to his friend.
Oh,
I know,
aw.
friend. I know.
You can come back here anytime.
He does not
If
normally
you
do
got my
that.
cat like all
Yeah,
happy.
no, he likes you.
Yes.
This is my buddy, and I never used
Yes.
to like black cats, but in the last couple of years, I'm okay with cats.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Well, he knows that.
Yeah,
It's amazing how
definitely.
cats distract everything.
Oh, definitely. But that's part of our therapy here too.
Yes.
Right.